you so much for clicking on this episode. Seriously, I know your time is valuable, and the fact that you chose to spend it here with English in Motion means a lot. If you enjoy this kind of advanced listening practice, please take 1 second to hit like. And if you want more C2 level episodes like this, subscribe and turn on notifications. Also, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What's the biggest thing that steals your time every week? Now, let's do a deep dive, not the boring kind. Not the study harder speech. A real, practical deep dive into something that quietly decides your grades, your confidence, your energy, and even your future options as a student. Time management. And before you say, yeah, I already know I should manage my time, let me ask you a more honest question. Do you ever feel like you're always busy, but somehow still behind, like the day disappears, and you're left thinking, what did I actually do? If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. Most students don't struggle because they're lazy. They struggle because the modern world is designed to steal attention. Classes, homework, group projects, part-time work, family responsibilities, social life, and then the biggest thief of all, your phone. One notification turns into 10 minutes. 10 minutes turns into an hour. And suddenly you're racing the clock at midnight, promising yourself you'll start earlier tomorrow. So here's the key mindset shift we're starting with today. Time management is not about stuffing more tasks into your day. It's about deciding what matters, choosing when to do it, and protecting your attention like it's a limited resource because it is. When you manage your time well, something surprising happens. You don't feel trapped. You feel free. You actually gain time, not because the day gets longer, but because your minutes stop leaking away. So, let's build this from the ground up, in a way that's realistic, the kind of system a student can actually follow in real life, not just in theory. First, you need a plan you can see. I'm not saying you need a perfect schedule that looks like a productivity influencer's life. I'm saying your brain needs a roadmap, because if you don't decide what your day is for, your day will decide for you. Start simple. Put your fixed commitments somewhere visible. Classes, work shifts, regular meetings. Then add 3 categories: study blocks, life blocks, and buffer blocks. Study blocks are obvious reading, assignments, exam prep, projects. Life blocks are the non-negotiables that keep you functioning: meals, exercise, errands, sleep, even social time. And buffer blocks, this is where most students fail. Buffer blocks are small pockets of time you intentionally leave open. Because life is not a spreadsheet. Something will run late. Something will surprise you. You will have a day where your brain is slower. And if you schedule every minute too tightly, one delay collapses your whole plan. Buffer time protects your plan from reality. Now, inside that plan, there's a strategy that changes everything. It's called time blocking. Time blocking means you divide your day into chunks and assign a single mission to each chunk. Not 10 missions. 1 mission. For example, you might say Monday, 9 to 10:30. Outline my history essay. 10:30 to 10:45 break. 10:45 to 12:00, write the introduction and first paragraph. That's time blocking. Here's why it works. When you sit down and think, I need to work on my essay, your brain feels a vague, heavy cloud. It's unclear. It's overwhelming. And when things feel overwhelming, people procrastinate. But when you sit down and think, for the next 45 minutes, I'm only writing one paragraph. Your brain relaxes. The task becomes specific, and specific tasks are easier to start. If you've ever felt stressed before exams, time blocking is one of the cleanest ways to reduce that stress. Because it turns, I have too much to study into. I'm doing chapter 2 from 2 to 3, then I stop. It gives your brain a finish line. Now, once you've planned your time, you're going to face the next enemy. And this enemy has nothing to do with intelligence. Distractions. Digital distractions are the #1 reason students feel like time disappears. And the problem isn't just that distractions take time. The problem is they break your focus. Every time you switch tasks, your brain pays a cost. It takes time to regain deep concentration. So even quick checks can destroy productivity. So let's talk about how to build a distraction-resistant environment. Start with a dedicated study space, a place your brain associates with focus. It can be a library corner, a desk at home, a quiet cafe, any place that signals. This is where I work. Then make it a clean space, not aesthetically clean, functionally clean. That means phone out of reach, not face down, not silent, out of reach, because your brain will still feel it like a magnet. It means no random tabs open. If you're writing, keep only what you need, a document, maybe one research source, and that's it. Think of it like building a fortress, not against other people, against your own impulses. And if you're studying in a noisy environment, a dorm, a crowded apartment, public transport, use noise-canceling headphones if you have them, or use simple white noise. It's not magic, but it helps your brain stop reacting to every small sound. Now, let's go one level deeper. Sometimes the best strategy is a short digital detox. This is especially useful during your time blocks. You decide, for the next 25 minutes, I am not available. You can turn your phone off completely, or use an app that blocks distracting sites. It might feel extreme at first, but most students are shocked by how freeing it is. It's like you finally get your attention back. And if you can't fully disconnect because you need to stay reachable, then manage your notifications. Most notifications are not urgent. They're just loud. Turn off anything non-essential during study time. You can check messages later intentionally instead of being interrupted by them. Now we've got planning, time blocking, and distraction control. Good. But there's another problem that destroys student schedules, even when they're motivated. Big tasks. Big assignments, research papers, final exams, long-term projects. They don't just take time, they create pressure, and pressure creates avoidance. So here's the rule: if a task feels heavy, shrink it. Instead of write a 10-page paper, your task becomes write one paragraph. Instead of study for the exam, Your task becomes review 10 flashcards or summarize one section. This is not about doing less, it's about making starting easier. And each small chunk gets its own mini deadline. Not a scary deadline, a simple one. By Wednesday, I will finish the outline. By Friday, I will finish the first 2 pages. Mini deadlines keep you moving. There's also a technique I want you to remember, because it sounds funny, but it's powerful. Eat that frog. It means you do your hardest, most uncomfortable task first early in the day before your energy drops and distractions increase. You get the frog out of the way, and everything else feels lighter. You start your day with a win, and that win changes your mood. And now, once you're doing tasks, we need to talk about something that separates average students from high-performing students. Working smarter, not harder. One of the biggest myths in modern student life is that multitasking is a skill. It isn't. Multitasking is usually just task switching. And task switching makes you slower, more tired, and less accurate. So train yourself to do one thing at a time. A simple way to practice is the 25-minute focus method. Set a timer for 25 minutes. One task, no switching. When the timer ends, you take a short break, then you do another focused block. Even if you only do 2 or 3 of these blocks per day, you'll be surprised by how much progress you make because your work is cleaner and deeper. Now, one last tool before we move forward: time tracking. Most people don't know where their time goes. They guess, and their guesses are wrong. If you track your time for even 2 days, just 2, you'll discover hidden leaks. 15 minutes here, 20 minutes there. A random scroll session, a long conversation, and those small leaks add up. Once you see them, you can make better choices. Not perfect choices, better choices. Okay, let's pause here for a second. So far, you've learned how to build a roadmap for your week, how to time block, how to reduce distractions, how to break big tasks into smaller chunks, how to start with your hardest task, how to avoid multitasking, and how to track your time. In the next part, we're going to go deeper into prioritization, how to decide what actually matters when everything feels urgent, and we're going to talk about balance, boundaries, and the biggest time management mistakes students make without realizing it. Before you continue, comment one thing you want to improve first planning: distractions, procrastination, or prioritization. Now let's go deeper, because this is where most students get stuck. Even if you plan, even if you time block, even if you hide your phone, there's still that feeling everything is important. Everything is urgent. I don't know what to do first. And when everything feels urgent, you either panic or you freeze. You end up doing the easiest task, not the most valuable one. You reply to messages. You organize your notes. You clean your desk. You do productive-looking things. But you avoid the one task that actually moves your life forward. So the next skill is prioritization. This is the skill that turns stress into clarity. Here's a truth that can be uncomfortable. At first, you can't do everything, but you can do the right things. One tool that helps with that is a simple framework called the Eisenhower Matrix. Don't worry, it's not complicated. It's basically a way to sort your tasks into 4 categories, based on 2 questions. Is it urgent? Is it important? Urgent means it needs attention soon. There's a deadline, a time pressure, a consequence if you delay. Important means it actually matters. It affects your grades, your progress, your health, your long-term goals. Now picture 4 boxes. Box 1, urgent and important. These are the do-it-now tasks. For a student, this could be an assignment due tomorrow, a quiz next week you haven't started preparing for, a group project meeting you must attend, a form you must submit by a deadline. These tasks deserve your immediate attention. But here's the interesting part. Many students live in this box. They spend their entire semester reacting, always in emergency mode, always catching up. And when you live there, you feel exhausted. So the real goal is not to become faster at box 1. The goal is to reduce box 1 by investing in box 2. Box 2, important but not urgent. This is the secret box. This is the box that creates success without panic. These tasks don't scream at you. They whisper. They're things like studying consistently, working on a long-term paper early, practicing English every day instead of cramming, building your portfolio, learning a new skill, improving your health, getting enough sleep. Box 2 tasks don't feel urgent today, but they change your life in a month, in a year, in 5 years. If you want less stress, you schedule box 2. You protect it. You treat it like it matters because it does. Then we have box 3, urgent but not important. These tasks feel urgent, but they don't really help you reach your goals. For students, that could mean replying to emails that could wait, attending meetings that don't require you, dealing with last-minute requests that are not your responsibility, some social plans you feel pressured into, or even urgent messages that aren't truly urgent. The skill here is to pause and ask, does this really deserve my best energy right now? Sometimes you can delay these tasks. Sometimes you can shorten them. Sometimes you can say no. And finally, box 4, not urgent and not important. These are pure time wasters. Scrolling, mindless videos, pointless drama, low-value entertainment that you don't even enjoy afterward. I'm not saying you should never relax. Relaxation is important. But box 4 is not relaxation. Box 4 is disappearing. So here's a practical way to use this matrix. Right now, or after this episode, write down every task you're carrying in your head, every assignment, every deadline, every commitment, even personal things. Then sort them into the 4 boxes. You don't need perfection, you just need clarity. Now, once you start prioritizing, there's a second skill that becomes critical: boundaries. Because the reason many students struggle isn't that they don't know what to do. It's that they say yes to too much. They say yes to extra projects, extra clubs, extra favors, extra hangouts, extra responsibilities, until their schedule becomes a prison. So let's talk about learning to say no. And no, saying no is not rude. Saying no is mature. Saying no means you respect your time. You respect your energy. You respect your future. The easiest way to say no is to keep it simple and calm. You don't need a long explanation. You can say, "I'd love to help, but I can't commit right now. Thanks for asking, but I have to pass this time. I have a deadline this week, so I can't join." If you want to be extra polite, you can offer an alternative. "I can't do it today, but I can help next week. I can't join the full event, but I can come for 30 minutes. The key is this: you can be kind without sacrificing yourself. Now, let's be realistic. Even with good boundaries, life will still surprise you. That's why flexibility is part of real-time management. A lot of students fail because they treat their schedule like a strict law. Then one small problem happens, and they think, "My plan is ruined," and they give up for the whole day. But your schedule is not a law, it's a guide. So build buffer time, like we talked about, leave a little space, and if something breaks your plan, adjust, don't abandon. You can say, "Okay, I lost an hour. What's the most important thing I can still do today?" That question is powerful. It keeps you moving. Now, let's talk about something people often ignore when they think about productivity: downtime. Downtime is not the enemy. Downtime is fuel. If you push nonstop, your brain gets tired, your concentration drops, your memory gets worse, you become more emotional, you procrastinate more, you make worse decisions, you start needing more caffeine just to function. So yes, time management includes breaks. But not the kind of break where you scroll and feel worse afterward. A real break is when your brain actually recovers. A short walk, stretching, a glass of water, a few deep breaths, a quick nap, fresh air, a short conversation with someone you like. And here's a simple rule you can try when you take a break. Change your state. Change your body position. Change your environment. Stand up, move. Look away from screens. Your brain will thank you. Now, something else that high-level students do and most people never notice is they use small pockets of time. Those 10 minutes before class, the 15 minutes waiting for a friend, the short commute, the time in line. Most people throw that time away without thinking. But those minutes can become tiny upgrades. You can review notes, you can make a quick to-do list, you can practice vocabulary, you can do a 2-minute breathing reset, you can listen to one short English clip. These pockets won't replace deep study blocks, but they add up, and they make you feel in control. So here's a challenge for you. Choose one pocket of time you usually waste, and decide in advance what you'll do with it. Not a huge task, a small one, something simple, something repeatable. Okay, let's bring this together. If you want to feel less overwhelmed, you need a clear way to prioritize, like the Eisenhower matrix, boundaries, so you don't overload yourself, flexibility, so one setback doesn't ruin your day, downtime, so your brain can recover, and awareness of small pockets of time, so your day stops leaking. In the next part, we're going to talk about the biggest traps that destroy student time management: procrastination, overcommitment, and perfectionism, and how to escape them in a realistic way. without relying on motivation. Before you move on, leave a comment with one thing you want to practice this week. 1. Eisenhower matrix. 2. Saying no. 3. Buffer time. 4. Better breaks. Or 5. Using small pockets of time. Let's talk about the traps. The sneaky ones. The ones that don't look like bad habits at first, but quietly wreck your schedule over weeks and months. Because here's what's real. Most students don't fail at time management because they don't know what to do. They fail because their emotions take over. They feel pressure. They feel tired. They feel overwhelmed. And then they drift into patterns that feel comforting in the moment, but expensive later. So in this part, we're going to unpack 3 big traps: procrastination, overcommitment, and perfectionism. And I'm not going to tell you to just be disciplined. I'm going to give you practical ways to escape these patterns in real life. Let's start with the one everyone knows, but almost nobody fully understands. Procrastination. A lot of people think procrastination is laziness. It usually isn't, most of the time. Procrastination is emotional avoidance. You avoid a task because starting it triggers discomfort. It might trigger fear, like, what if I do this badly? It might trigger stress, like, this is too much. It might trigger boredom, like, this is going to be painful. It might trigger uncertainty, like, I don't even know where to begin. So your brain does something very human. It looks for relief, and the fastest relief is usually a small distraction, a quick video, a message, a snack, a short break. The relief feels real, but then the task doesn't disappear. It grows, the deadline gets closer, and the stress becomes heavier. So how do you escape procrastination? Step 1, reduce the size of the start. Most people procrastinate because the first step feels too big. So make the first step so small it feels almost silly. Instead of study for biology, your first step is open the document and write the title. Instead of write the essay, your first step is write one messy sentence. Instead of prepare for the presentation, your first step is create one slide with 3 bullet points. Your brain doesn't fear work, it fears unclear work. So your goal is to make the start clear. Step 2, use the 5-minute entry. Tell yourself, I'm only doing 5 minutes. That's all, not 1 hour, not the whole assignment, 5 minutes. And here's what happens once you start. Momentum kicks in. 5 minutes often becomes 15. 15 becomes 30. The hardest part is the doorway, not the room. Step 3, plan the exact time and place. This is one of the simplest upgrades, and it's powerful because it removes negotiation. Instead of I'll study later, say, at 7:30 p.m. after dinner, I will study at my desk for 25 minutes. Specific time, specific place, specific action. When you're vague, your brain argues with you. When you're specific, your brain follows instructions. Now, even if you do all of this, procrastination can still win if your environment is designed for distraction. So step 4, design your environment so the bad choice is harder. Put your phone in another room during study blocks. Log out of social media. Use full screen mode, clear your desk. Keep water nearby so you don't keep getting up. This isn't about willpower, it's about making focus easier than distraction. Now, let's move to the second trap. Overcommitment. This one is dangerous because it often looks like ambition. You feel productive because you're doing so much. Your calendar is full. People see you as reliable. And you might even feel proud. But overcommitment has a hidden cost. You lose depth. You start doing many things at 60% quality instead of a few things at 90%. You stop having enough recovery time. Your sleep drops, your patience drops, your focus drops, and then you start making mistakes. Here's the test for overcommitment. It's simple. If your schedule has no breathing room, you're not busy, you're fragile. One surprise event, and your whole week collapses. So how do you fix overcommitment? First, choose your top 3 priorities for the next season. Not your entire life, just the next 4 to 8 weeks. Ask yourself, what are the 3 things that matter most right now? Maybe it's pass an exam, finish a project, improve English listening. Maybe it's raise grades, build a portfolio, protect health. Then use those priorities as a filter. When a new request appears, don't ask, is this a good opportunity? Ask, does this support my top 3 priorities right now? If the answer is no, you don't need to hate it. You just need to decline it. Second, create a not now list. This is a list of things you want to do, but not this month. Join a club, start a new course, build a new project, learn a new skill. Put it on the not now list. Because when you write it down, your brain stops panicking that you'll forget it. You're not rejecting the idea. You're just delaying it with intention. Third, practice polite boundaries. You don't need dramatic speeches. Try this. Thanks for thinking of me. I can't take on extra commitments this week. I'd love to, but I'm focused on deadlines right now. I'm not available, but I hope it goes well. Short, calm, clear. Now, the third trap. Perfectionism. Perfectionism is the trap that turns smart students into stuck students. It sounds like I'll start when I have the perfect plan. I need to do more research before I begin. I can't submit this yet. It's not good enough. Perfectionism feels responsible, but it's often fear wearing a professional outfit. It's the fear of judgment, the fear of doing something average, the fear of being seen. And the cost is heavy. You delay, you overthink, you miss opportunities, you don't ship work, you don't practice enough, you stay in your head. So how do you escape perfectionism without lowering your standards? Use a 2-stage mindset draft first, refine second. Stage 1 is allowed to be messy. Stage 2 is where you improve. Most perfectionists try to refine before they even have a draft. That's like trying to polish a statue before you've built the shape. So your rule becomes, make it exist, then make it good. Another tool is the good enough threshold. For each task, decide what good enough means before you start. For example, this essay needs to be clear, structured, and supported by 3 sources. It does not need to be genius. This presentation needs to communicate the main idea in 5 minutes. It does not need to impress everyone. This study session needs to cover 2 chapters. It does not need to be perfect focus. When you define good enough, you stop chasing an invisible standard. And the last piece here is something people rarely say out loud, but it matters. Self-kindness is a productivity strategy. If you shame yourself for every mistake, you train your brain to avoid work. If you treat mistakes as normal feedback, you train your brain to keep going. C2 level success in study and in language learning is not about never failing, it's about recovering fast. So here's a short reset you can use any time you feel stuck. What is the smallest next action? What is the one thing that matters most today? What would good enough look like right now? Answer those 3 questions, and you'll move again. In the next part, we're going to talk about energy management, sleep, stress, routines, and why your health is not separate from your productivity. It's the engine behind it. If you're still with me, comment 1 trap you want to beat first: procrastination, overcommitment, or perfectionism. Now, let's talk about the engine behind everything we've discussed so far. Because you can have the best schedule in the world. You can time block like a pro. You can color code your calendar. You can even delete every distracting app on your phone. But if your energy's broken, your time management will collapse. This is the part most students underestimate. They treat productivity like it's only about discipline and planning. But real productivity is also biological. It's mental, it's emotional, it's physical. In other words, your health is not separate from your performance. It is the foundation of your performance. And the first pillar of that foundation is sleep. Sleep is the thing students sacrifice first, especially during exams. People say, "I'll sleep later." They treat sleep like a luxury. But sleep is not a luxury. It's your brain's maintenance system. When you sleep well, your focus improves, your memory improves, your mood stabilizes, your ability to learn and retain information increases, your stress tolerance rises. When you don't sleep well, everything becomes harder. Reading becomes slower. You forget what you just studied. You make careless mistakes. You become more emotional. You crave distractions. You procrastinate more. You need more caffeine just to function, which often makes sleep worse again. That cycle is brutal, and it's one reason students feel like they're working hard but getting weak results. So, let's make sleep practical. The biggest sleep upgrade is consistency. A regular sleep schedule. You don't need perfection, but you need rhythm. Try to keep your bedtime and wake-up time relatively stable, even on weekends. If you shift your sleep schedule wildly, you create what feels like a mini jet lag. Monday becomes painful, and then you spend half the week recovering. The second sleep upgrade is a wind-down routine. Your brain needs a signal that the day is ending. If you study until the last minute, then scroll your phone in bed, your mind stays on. It doesn't shut off easily. So create a small routine. It can be simple: dim the lights, put your phone away, take a shower, stretch, read something light, or write a quick plan for tomorrow. That last one is powerful. A short plan for tomorrow can reduce anxiety because your brain stops trying to hold everything in memory. It knows you have a plan. That makes it easier to sleep. The third upgrade is your sleep environment. If you can, keep your room dark, quiet, and cool. Even small changes help. Less light, less noise, better airflow. Your body sleeps deeper. And one more thing, protect your last hour before bed, especially from caffeine, heavy meals, and intense content. A lot of students know caffeine is an issue, but they forget something else. Emotionally intense content is also a stimulant. Drama, arguments, stressful videos, scary stories. Even intense news can keep your brain alert. If you want better sleep, feed your mind calmer inputs at night. Now, if sleep is the foundation, the next pillar is stress management. Because stress is not just a feeling, stress changes how your brain works. Under high stress, your attention shrinks. Your brain becomes reactive. You start thinking in extremes. I'll never finish this. I'm going to fail. I'm behind everyone. Stress pushes you into survival mode, and survival mode is not the best mode for learning. So, how do you manage stress as a student? Realistically, first stop treating breaks like a reward you only deserve after you finish everything. Most students do this. They say, once I finish my tasks, then I'll relax. But tasks don't end. There's always something. So relaxation gets delayed forever. Instead, treat breaks like part of the system, like charging your phone. You don't say, I'll charge my phone after I use it 1 more hour. You charge it so it can keep working. The simplest stress reset you can do is a short movement break. Stand up, walk, stretch. Take a few deep breaths. 2 minutes can change your body chemistry. It sounds small, but it works because your nervous system responds to physical signals. If your body stays tense all day, your brain stays tense too. Second use externalization. Externalization means you take what's spinning in your head and put it outside your head. Write down what's stressing you. Write down what you need to do. Write down the next step. When tasks live only in your mind, they feel heavier. When tasks are written down, they become objects you can handle. Third, keep your workload realistic. Stress is often not just about difficulty, it's about overload. Too many tasks competing for the same time and energy. This is where boundaries return again. Saying no is not just a time management skill. It's a mental health skill. It protects your capacity. Now, let's talk about routines. Routines are one of the most underrated time management tools because they reduce decision fatigue. Decision fatigue is what happens when you spend your mental energy deciding what to do next. Over and over, it drains you. But if you have a routine, your brain doesn't debate. It follows a familiar path. For example, imagine a simple evening routine. You arrive home, you eat, you take 10 minutes to reset. Then you do one focused study block. Then you take a break. Then you do another block. Then you stop at a set time and wind down. That structure prevents the chaos of I'll study later. Later becomes a trap. A routine removes that trap. The goal isn't to build a perfect routine. The goal is to create a default pattern that supports your success. A good routine has two qualities. It's consistent enough that it becomes automatic. It's flexible enough that it still works on difficult days. Now, one more health pillar that students often ignore: food and movement. I'm not going to give you a lecture about fitness. I'm going to connect it to focus. If your meals are chaotic, your energy will be chaotic. If you don't move your body for days, your brain often feels heavier. Small upgrades matter here. Eat something that stabilizes your energy. Drink water. Get sunlight if you can. Walk for 10 minutes. Do light exercise. Stretch. This is not about looking a certain way. It's about giving your brain oxygen, blood flow, and a stable internal state. And there's an emotional side too. Movement is one of the simplest ways to reduce anxiety. It releases tension. It clears mental fog. Now, let's combine everything into a single idea that C2 level learners understand deeply. Time management is also energy management. The same hour can produce wildly different results depending on your sleep, your stress, your environment, and your mental state. So instead of asking, "How can I do more?" ask, "How can I make my best hours easier to access?" For many students, the best hours are earlier in the day. Not always, but often. If that's true for you, protect those hours for your most important work. Use your lower energy hours for simpler tasks. This is working with your biology instead of fighting it. And here's a final thought before we move on. You don't need to become a different person to manage your time. You don't need to become perfect or hyper-disciplined or always motivated. You need systems that match real life. Sleep rhythm, simple routines, smart priorities, protected focus, boundaries, breaks that actually recharge you. If you build these slowly, your life starts to feel less rushed, less chaotic, more intentional. In the next part, we'll talk about the final layer: how to review your week, adjust your system, and avoid the common mistakes that cause students to quit their time management plan after a few days. Before we continue, write one thing in the comments you want to improve: first, sleep, stress, routines, or energy. Now let's talk about the part that turns time management from a short burst of motivation into a lifestyle. Review and adjustment. Because here's what happens to many students. They get inspired, they build a schedule, they start strong for 3 days. Then something unexpected happens. They miss a day. They feel guilty. They think, "I failed," and they quit. But real time management isn't about never missing a day. It's about having a system that can recover. So what you need is a simple weekly review. Not a long, complicated planning session. Just a short check-in that helps you learn from your week and make your next week easier. Here's a weekly review process you can do in 10 to 15 minutes. Step 1, look back. Without judgment. Ask what worked. Maybe time blocking helped. Maybe studying in the library helped. Maybe your morning routine helped. Then ask what didn't work. Maybe you planned too much. Maybe you underestimated distractions. Maybe you scheduled study blocks when you were always tired. This is not about blame. This is about data. Your week is feedback. Step 2, identify one bottleneck. A bottleneck is the one thing that caused the most problems. It might be sleep. It might be overcommitment. It might be social media. It might be unclear priorities. It might be procrastination on one big task. Don't try to fix 10 things at once. Fix one bottleneck at a time. Step 3, choose one upgrade for the next week. One upgrade. For example, I will put my phone in another room during my first study block. I will schedule 2 important but not urgent sessions. I will create buffer time every afternoon. I will stop studying at a set time and wind down for sleep. I will do a 10-minute planning session every morning. One upgrade is manageable. 10 upgrades is fantasy. Now, let's talk about the common mistakes that cause students to quit. Mistake number 1, planning an unrealistic week. A lot of students schedule the week they wish they had, not the week they actually live. They schedule 5 hours of deep study every day, plus gym, plus social life, plus perfect meals, plus perfect sleep, and then reality hits. So the rule is, plan for reality, not for your best case fantasy. Start with less. It's always easier to add time than to rescue an impossible plan. Mistake number 2, confusing movement with progress. This is when you feel busy, but you're not doing the high-impact work. You're organizing, formatting, rewriting notes, cleaning your workspace, checking emails, doing small tasks that feel safe. And sometimes those tasks are useful. But if they replace your most important work, they become avoidance. So ask yourself, what is the one task today that will reduce the most stress tomorrow? That's usually your highest impact task. Mistake number 3, relying on motivation. Motivation is a spark. It's not a battery. So don't build a system that only works when you feel inspired. Build a system that works when you feel average. That means your plan should have small, repeatable actions. 25 minutes of focused work. 1 paragraph, 1 page, 10 flashcards. 1 practice conversation. Small steps, repeated. Beat big plans that never happen. Mistake number 4, treating breaks like failure. Many students feel guilty when they rest. They think rest means they're lazy. But rest is not laziness. Rest is recovery. If you rest well, your study time becomes more productive. If you don't rest, your study time becomes longer but weaker. So don't fight your need for breaks. Design them. Mistake number 5, not protecting the start of work. The start is the most fragile moment. If you start your study block and immediately check your phone, you're done. Your focus is broken before it begins. So build a ritual for starting. It can be simple. Sit down, clear your desk, open your task, set a timer, start. A tiny ritual trains your brain to shift into focus mode. Now, let's add one more advanced strategy that high-level students use. Theme days. This means you assign a general focus to each day, so your week feels structured. For example, Monday reading and research, Tuesday writing and assignments, Wednesday review and practice, Thursday, projects and presentations. Friday, catch-up and planning. You don't need to follow it perfectly, but it reduces mental load. You stop asking, "What should I do today?" because the day already has a direction. And if your schedule is chaotic, you can also use theme blocks instead of theme days. For example, morning deep work, afternoon classes and lighter tasks, evening review and planning. Again, it's not a strict rule. It's a guide that helps your brain stay organized. Now, there's one final mindset that makes everything we've covered sustainable. Progress over perfection. If you miss a day, you don't quit. If you slip, you reset. If your plan fails, you adjust. Your system is not a fragile glass statue. It's a living tool. And the goal is not to become perfectly productive. The goal is to create a life where you feel less overwhelmed, more in control, and more able to enjoy your student years without constant stress. So let's do a quick recap of what you now have in your toolkit. You have planning and scheduling, so your time is visible. You have time blocking, so your tasks become clear. You have distraction control, so your focus becomes protected. You have task breakdown and mini deadlines, so big tasks become manageable. You have prioritization, so you stop treating everything as urgent. You have boundaries, so you stop overloading your life. You have downtime and energy management, so your brain can perform. And now you have weekly review, so your system can evolve instead of collapsing. That's the difference between a student who is always chasing deadlines and a student who leads their schedule. Now, in the next part, we're going to shift into something very practical, a simple C2 student weekly blueprint you can copy, a realistic weekly structure that balances study, life, and recovery, and you can adjust it to your own schedule. Here it is, a simple weekly blueprint you can copy, adjust, and actually follow. This is designed to feel realistic, not perfect. It works whether you're in school, university, or studying independently. And it's built around one core idea: protect focus, reduce stress, and make progress consistent. Let's start with the structure. You're going to have 3 types of time in your week: deep work blocks, light work blocks, recovery blocks. Deep work blocks are for your highest impact tasks, exam prep, writing, problem sets, projects, presentations, serious English practice. Light work blocks are for low energy tasks, review, organizing, email, short quizzes, vocabulary, planning, simple assignments. Recovery blocks are for sleep, breaks, exercise, friends, family, hobbies, and doing nothing on purpose. Now, here's the weekly blueprint. First, the daily foundation. Every day, you aim for 1 deep work block, 1 light work block, a short planning moment, a real break. If you can do that consistently, your life changes. A deep work block can be 60 to 90 minutes, or even 25 minutes if you're busy. A light work block can be 30 to 60 minutes. Planning can be 3 to 5 minutes. A real break can be 10 to 20 minutes. Now let's build the week. Monday setup and momentum. Monday is for planning the week and starting strong. Deep work, your hardest academic task of the week. First, light work, organize deadlines, outline assignments, prepare materials, recovery, early sleep if you can. The goal on Monday is clarity and momentum. Tuesday, production day. This is a strong, deep work day. Deep work writing, problem sets, project progress, light work review notes, short practice, recovery simple movement, short walk. The goal on Tuesday is building real output. Wednesday, review and repair. Midweek is for checking your progress. Deep work, review a difficult subject or revise a draft. Light work, catch up on small tasks you ignored. Recovery, social time or a hobby, something that refills you. The goal on Wednesday is to prevent midweek drift. Thursday, second production day, another strong work day. Deep work, big assignment progress or exam practice. Light work, vocabulary, flashcards, short reading. Recovery, protect your bedtime routine. The goal on Thursday is to lock in progress before the weekend. Friday, clean finish. This day is for finishing what can be finished. Deep work, final push on one major task. Light work, admin tasks, email, planning next week's needs, recovery, real downtime. The goal on Friday is relief. You want Friday to feel like you closed loops. Saturday, flexible focus and life. Saturday can be powerful if you use it intentionally. Option A, if you're behind. Deep work, one focused catch-up block. Light work, review. Preparation, recovery. Enjoy the rest of the day. Option B, if you're on track. Deep work, optional skill growth. English listening, speaking practice, or learning something useful. Recovery, more freedom. Saturday is not for guilt. Saturday is for balance. Sunday, reset and prepare. Sunday is your mental reset. Deep work, light planning or gentle review. Not heavy stress. Light work, prepare your week schedule. Checklist, materials, recovery, rest, family, long walk, calm activities, sleep early. Sunday is not for panic study. Sunday is for a smoother Monday. Now, here is a simple daily template you can use. Daily template. First 3-minute plan. What is the one thing that matters most today? What is the smallest next action? When will I do it? Then deep work block, 60 to 90 minutes, or 25 minutes if needed. Phone away, timer on, one task. Then real break, move your body, water, no scrolling. Then light work block, review notes, do smaller tasks, plan next steps. Then shut down ritual. Write tomorrow's top 3 tasks. Close your laptop, wind down. That's the whole system. Now, let's make it C2 level useful for your audience. Because your video title is 2-hour C2 level advanced English listening practice. So, we need to connect time management to English learning in a way that feels real. Here's how a learner can integrate English into this weekly blueprint without feeling overwhelmed. Daily English micro plan. 1 short listening session every day, 10 to 20 minutes, during commuting, walking, cooking, cleaning. 1 speaking session 3 times a week, 15 minutes, shadowing. Repeat phrases, record yourself. 1 longer session on Saturday, 30 to 60 minutes, deep listening, note vocabulary, summarize. and 1 weekly review on Sunday. 10 minutes. What did I learn? What words did I actually use? What topic do I want next week? This is how learners reach a high level not by cramming once a month, but by building a system. Now, let's add one more feature that makes this blueprint stick the minimum version. Because on bad days, you still need a way to win. Minimum version. 5 minutes planning, 10 minutes English listening, 10 minutes light review. That's it. If you do only that on a bad day, you still protect your identity as someone who practices consistently. Consistency beats intensity. Now, let's talk about how to personalize this blueprint. If you're a morning person, your deep work goes early. If you're a night person, your deep work goes later. If your schedule is full, reduce the block size. If your energy is low, do 2 shorter blocks instead of 1 long block. The blueprint is not strict, it's adaptable. And that's what makes it sustainable. Now, before we move forward, I want you to picture something. Imagine waking up on Monday and you already know what matters. You don't guess. You don't panic. You don't scroll for half an hour. You know your next action. That feeling, clarity, and control is what real-time management gives you. And the best part is, you don't need a perfect life to feel it. You need a simple system that you can repeat. In the next part, we'll close the episode in a strong way, a final motivation section that still feels practical, plus a clean outro with a natural call to action like subscribe, comment prompts matching your channel English in motion. Let's finish this deep dive with something practical, calm, and motivating without becoming unrealistic. Because if you're listening to this, you're not looking for magic. You're looking for a way to feel more in control, less overwhelmed, more confident, not just as a student, but as a person building a future. So here's the final message I want you to keep. Time management is not about squeezing every minute until your life feels tight and stressful. It's about choosing what matters, protecting your focus, and creating space to breathe. And yes, that takes effort, but it's the kind of effort that pays you back every day. Now, before we wrap up, I want to give you a simple reset plan you can use anytime you feel behind. Because you will feel behind sometimes. That's normal. Life is unpredictable. So here's your reset plan. Step 1, clear the noise. Take a piece of paper or open a note on your phone and write down everything you're worried about, everything you feel you need to do. Don't organize it, just dump it out. This is not planning yet. This is unloading your brain. Step 2, choose one priority. Look at that list and ask one question. If I only finished one thing today, what would reduce the most stress tomorrow? That's your priority. Step 3, choose the smallest next action. Not the whole task, the smallest step. Open the document, write the title, make the outline, find the first source, do 5 practice questions, write the first paragraph. Step 4, do 1 focused block. Set a timer, 25 minutes is enough. Phone away, 1 task, just begin. Step 5, stop with a plan. When the timer ends, don't just quit. Write down your next step. One sentence. Next, I will write the second paragraph. Next, I will review chapter 2. Next, I will create 3 slides. That way, when you return later, you restart faster. This reset plan works because it removes confusion, reduces overwhelm, and gives you momentum. Now, here's a mindset shift that separates high performers from stressed performers. High performers don't always feel motivated. They feel reluctant sometimes. They feel tired. They feel distracted. They feel uncertain. But they have a system. They start small. They protect focus. They review and adjust. They recover. They come back. That's it. And if you're aiming for a C2 level in English, this matters even more. Because advanced fluency is not built in one big push. It's built by repetition, consistency, and confident practice over time. That's why I want you to take one thing from this episode and apply it today. Not tomorrow, not next week, today. Just one small step. Now, let's make this interactive. In the comments, answer this question. What is your biggest challenge right now? A, procrastination. B, distractions. C, overwhelm. D, poor sleep. E, overcommitment. And also tell me one small habit you will try this week. If you found this deep dive helpful, please give this video a like. It really helps the channel reach more learners around the world. And if you want more C2 level listening practice with real-life topics, subscribe to English in Motion. We upload new lessons to help you improve your listening, speaking, and fluency step by step, in a way that feels natural and practical. Also, if you want a follow-up episode, tell me what you want next. Time management for working professionals, time management for language learners, or advanced study techniques for exam success. Thank you for spending your time with me today. I know your time is valuable. And remember, you don't need more time. You need a better relationship with your time. Take one small step today, and your future self will thank you. See you in the next video.